the atmosphere in the 60s and into the 70s was suffused with politics if you were on a university campus, and even if you were just an American. So, yes. And uh, uh, my struggle, and it remains a struggle to this day, is a struggle about activism versus very limited activism and attending to other work. And that was true. I mean, as I told you, I went in to study political philosophy, moral and political theory. And one way to do that is to say, what's a just war? Is Vietnam a just war? But I couldn't do that. I sort of separated the intellectual work that I was doing on the history of political thought and the politics of the time. And that has been and there are people who do, as I say, there are many people who write about the great books that I write about from the standpoint of what are their lessons for us, right? And I haven't really done quite that. So there's no question that the politics of that era, every boy you dated was subject to the draft. It was everywhere, and the ugliness of it was everywhere. And you asked about a favorite movie, and in a second I could say what my favorite movie was. It was Apocalypse Now, and I know I could tell you why that movie was as stunning as it was. I mean, we lived in an era in which um, the war was meaningless. It had become nothing but a monstrosity of bloodletting, and what Apocalypse Now showed was not only that this war was meaningless, but that if you were to try to give it meaning, uh, all you could do was make up some dreadful fantasy about what you were doing. And although there is a third position, and that is that, and we saw that in the 60s and 70s too, which is that veterans would come back from the war and understand its meaninglessness and decide to become witnesses to it. So there are three sort of positions towards the war, and I thought that they were there in Apocalypse Now. I mean, the witness was the filmmaker, right? The characters were not, but the characters really showed what it means to be killing and dying and trying to survive for no reason in the atmosphere of meaninglessness, and at the same time, like Hertz, to invent a fantasy of why this has significance.